Okay, so bit of data tidying. Now, there's some inherent problems with sightings data, and we will talk about this in class. But I think this next process is going to illustrate some of them. We're going to show how we can maybe tidy some of them up in GIS before we take it into R or Excel. You can also do some of this within the R and Excel as well, but this is maybe just a nice way to be able to visualize it. Now, the problem that I'm talking about can be quite nicely illustrated if I take actually my countries layer over here on the layers panel and just drop it down under my sightings. And so hopefully you can immediately see that there are a few basking sharks that are out of place. For example, here we've got one in the middle of Arran. So there's a handy little tool for inspecting the data. It's called the little information icon, which has now temporarily escaped me, but luckily I have got it set up. So if I take the information pointer and just click on that, oh, it's up here, look, see, I couldn't find it then, under processing. It's got a little eye on it. Make sure you've got your layer highlighted that you want, that always helps, and then click on it. So I'm going to click on that, and it's brought back that one, and it's telling me all about that data point. And down here it's got depth. My basking shark is 419 metres above sea level, and like you can see, it's on land. Why is that? That one might actually be a mistake unless somebody saw one from a mountain, possibly. But you can see there's quite a lot of points clustered around the land. And the reason is a lot of this data has come from people seeing a basking shark, taking their position, which is, of course, on a cliff top or inland, and reporting that as the position for the sighting, which is the best they can do, and that is fine. But it means that a lot of our, information is going to be completely wrong because it will be having them on the shore or on the hill. So unfortunately, we're going to have to get rid of all of those. And the easy way to do that really is just to filter them by depth. So if I'm going to just uncheck that one, which is my basking shark layer without that depth information that we've just added, and I'm going to right click on this one and go to properties. A minute, I'm going to show you if I choose to symbolize by categorized and then change the value, not categorized, sorry, by graduated and change the value to depth, you will see that issue. One handy tool on here, obviously classify it and we get our different symbols for depth. But you can also look at the histogram, and that tells you how your measurements are attributed on here. So you can see I've got naught, which is sea level, and I've got a lot of basking sharks above sea level, as well as my proper ones, which are below. So I've got a problem. Okay, so let's get rid of basking sharks on land. And to do that, I can filter the data. So if I right click on it, I can go to filter. And then if I go down to my depth, double click depth, so that's coming up down here into what I want to build my filter. And then you've got these. So I only want basking sharks that are less than 0, which is sea level. So I'm going to put less than or equal to. I don't want equal to, actually. I don't want them to be 0 because that would be a bit silly. So I'm just going to have a less than 0. Test it, see if it's making sense. And it's telling me I've going to have 15,872 sightings. It's getting rid of a big chunk of them, but it's keeping quite a lot, which is quite handy. So if I run OK, you can see my little basking shark has disappeared from there. I've still got one here, which is a bit worrying. Maybe it was in a sea lock, but it's not coming up on my map. I don't know. But hopefully now, let's have a look at that histogram. If I go to properties, change it to my graduated symbol, and depth, load values. Now I can see, look, it only goes up to 0. So hopefully I've only got basking sharks that are actually in the water. Ignore the fact they just all disappeared. That's just me messing around. So what I want to do now is I can export that to Excel. I'm just going to change my symbology back to being sensible. So simple. Bring them back. And we'll do that in the next bit.